Hello everyone, how are you doing today? My name is Carolina Chavez and I am broadcasting from Valle de Bravo, Mexico.
Today is September 8th of 2020. So, I'm very happy to announce that we have a new schedule, a new section of our program. On Tuesday, we're going to be broadcasting like today. On Wednesday, we have our interviews at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. And on Thursday, we're going to broadcast, we're going to share with you indigenous work, okay? So, the same at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. So, I want to refresh what sustainable fashion means. Sustainable fashion, responsible fashion, eco-fashion, conscious fashion. Because the most important thing to know is that we can all do it. We are all part of the industry because we dress every day. So I'm going to give you some definitions which I'm sure you will see. You probably already thought of it or you are already doing some of it. So the idea is not to feel guilty about anything. It's just to have fun, to keep dressing like we like, just with these simple tweaks that will make our habit, our consumption habit, more in tune with the environment and our animals and our skin and our wallet and everything, okay? So our first definition would be made to order, custom made, okay? I know we don't use this as often, but this saves resources, plenty of resources, instead of going to buy in a store where they produce a huge inventory. These huge inventories are a very big problem because when they are not sold, in many cases they will go to waste. They will go to incineration. This is real, and this is huge, and this is horrible. Or they will go to landfills. So I know, to dress every day, we don't custom made our clothes, but probably for some special occasion, we're gonna save some good resources over there. The second definition is to be respectful with the environment, okay? So this is being green and clean. What does this mean? We need to check the labels, for example, of the clothing that we're buying. It's not the same to buy polyester to say something, right? Polyester is basically plastic that what we are putting on our skin. Some natural fibers are not necessarily the best because, let's say, cotton and bamboo, they're very thirsty fibers. So when they are organic, it's, they're still thirsty, but we save some water in the process. Also, they're not, talking about cotton, they are not genetically modified. They don't come from a seed that's genetically modified. When a seed is genetically modified, it pollutes the earth where the seeds are planted. And this means that this earth cannot give anything else to the communities around them. They cannot plant other things that they would usually eat from the earth. It pollutes the water, and it's not sustainable financially because the seeds are very expensive. So we definitely can contribute to this if we look for organic fibers, no? Because we need to make sure, of course, and dig probably a little bit deeper, but genetically modified is just a big no-no, not only for the environment, but also for the people that work the land, okay? Another definition is high quality and timeless design. High quality because it's going to last longer. This is pretty simple. Because if we pay more, we're going to take care more of our clothes. It's just going to last longer. And timeless designs, what does that mean? Well, we all have jeans, right? Denim, we can use it all year round. No, that's a good example of something timeless. As opposed to buying something that is the color of the season, for example, and then you can assure this color of this season is not going to be the same color of the same summer or the same spring. So when we buy very seasonal clothes, we make sure that we are not going to be able to use them, right? There's not a lot of people, I personally don't dress like that, but there's a lot of people that, they buy for the season and then they dispose or they just put away, and then the season they buy new clothes. So take this into consideration. It's fun to get out of the closet the stuff that we already have and make combinations, and So with what we have already, we can do all these things. Another definition is fair and ethical. The fair and ethical is fair trade. Okay, what this means is that the companies that are producing the clothes are treating their employees the right way. This means salaries enough to live decently, good working conditions, sanitation, health insurance. There's so many things that just think about it. If you are an employee, how do you need to be treated in a fair way for you to do your work productively, but also to live a decent life. And it starts with a good working condition and a good salary. And there are many companies that are doing it already, but there are many others that you cannot imagine the terrible conditions. This is so important that we pay attention to this. You can find, if you have a brand that you already love, go to their websites and they will tell you. If they say that they cannot reveal the sources and this information maybe is not available, then be skeptical, because transparency is key on this. They need to disclose as much information as possible, so we us as consumers are sure that they are actually fair trade companies. Okay. Another definition is repair, redesign, or upcycle. This is with the idea to give more life to the clothes that we already have. We don't need to spend money on this, maybe to fix a button or to fix a zipper or something, but we don't need to buy more, okay? Also the wallet, to not hurt our wallet buying clothes is sustainable, should be sustainable. We cannot just, go crazy because we need clothes. No, this is not being sustainable also. Upcycle, what does it mean? For example, you have this that you don't like as a jacket anymore. You got the arms, you add some design. If you don't know how to do it, because many people don't know how to do these things, maybe you can go with somebody. There's so many options out there. You can transform some piece into another. I don't know, upcycling basically means to give a higher value to something that maybe you were going to dispose already of it. So if you can add value just to keep wearing it, perfect. That's your upcycling right there. Another definition is rent, lease, or swap. So rent, let's say when you're going to go to a party, renting a dress instead of buying it new is a great option, right? You give it back, you don't spend, I don't know, $300, $1,000, $2, $5, whatever, buying something, okay? Obviously renting is much cheaper, and you give it back, you don't have it in your closet, staying there forever. Lease is basically the same option. You have it for a longer period of time. There's some subscriptions, right, that you get clothes, you use them for a certain, let's say you have 3 pieces, you give back 1 when you don't want it anymore, they give 1 back to you, and you have 3 pieces all the time, but you are changing them, okay? And the other option is swapping. There's swap parties, swap, reunions. This was a little bit more popular before the pandemic, obviously, but this is a very, very fun option. You can also do it like in a more tight, group with your friends or with your family. You have clothes that you're not going to use anymore, and maybe you know that somebody in your family is the same size, and you swap. You know, you have new clothes, you don't spend money, they have new clothes, so this is also a super good option. And the last definition is second-hand and vintage. Here the difference between these two is that second-hand is talking about clothes that they had a previous owner. We are not the first owners, but they're not necessarily older clothes. Vintage means that they belong to another era, right? Like the 60s, the 70s, the 80s. And it doesn't necessarily mean that they are used. It's hard to find vintage clothes that haven't been used, but you could, okay? It doesn't mean, as I say, that they were already worn. Second-hand, yes. They were already worn. They're in good condition, obviously, so you can use them again. There's also great options online, all over the place, for us to buy second-hand. This is second-hand, for example. I bought it from ThreadUp, and they have a huge selection, probably around 30,000 brands. And the good thing is that the brands go from, I don't know, the very high end to more simple. You can find new clothes, no? I bet you have a couple of pieces in your closet that have a label too, so that's how they get new clothes, right? You can actually send to them the clothes that you don't use anymore, new or used already but in good condition, and you can buy from them too. And vintage, well, it's older styles, but it's I think a lot of fun. Also, you can find great options all over the place. Please do some research on this if you're interested, because you're going to be surprised. You're going to be pleasantly surprised of how many options, how many programs are out there to fix your clothes. There are brands that you can buy from them, and they offer to you to repair your clothes, or you can return them when you no longer use them, so they can recycle and maybe do something new. Anyways, there's so many options. I'm very happy to be with you in this new chapter. We will be exploring many of these things. Obviously, we're going to talk about a lot of technology that's out there, that's extremely relevant for us to know. And I'm going to be seeing you soon, next week on Tuesday. Remember, we have our interviews and our indigenous work on Thursday. Some of the interviews are not in English, but on YouTube you can use subtitles, and the same with the indigenous work. Some interviews will be in English, but this is you know, when we have the opportunity to interview somebody that is going to talk to us in English. So thank you so much for being with me today. I will be seeing you next week, okay? Thank you. Bye.